Welcome back to Story Glimpse. Weston Kincade here, best-selling horror author, and today we're going to be going over unreliable narrators in 3 points. But first, you need to understand what a narrator does. Now, so what is a narrator? A narrator is the person or thing. It could be a fable, so you could have a creature speaking, being the narrator, but the character that is telling the story. That's your narrator. It is sometimes the main character, but not always. The big thing to keep in mind, though, is that sometimes your narrators lie. Starting with point 1, we have ulterior motives. Characters can have ulterior motives, just like we do. Okay, they're people. They have desires, they have wants, they have needs, and they're not always going to reveal them. Like I said, a narrator can be untrustworthy. So whenever you're designing your short story or novel, if your narrator has an ulterior motive, something that they're trying to achieve that may not necessarily line up with what the reader wants, you're going to have an unreliable narrator. That is something that it's fairly niche. We don't, as a reader, we don't encounter it very often, and whenever we do, it can really shock us. But the most common thing to keep in mind is that narrators are human. They're just like us, and they will lie, often for an ulterior motive that the reader is not going to like. Moving on to point 2. This is simply the beliefs of the character. The reason they may be an unreliable narrator could be something that they don't understand or they've blocked out. They could have temporary amnesia or situational amnesia, where whatever it is that they're trying to remember, they can't. So they can't reveal it. Or it could just be a belief that they actually were in the right. And that actually is what you see within my short story, Held to the Chief. Whenever he first shows up, he's claiming, I haven't done anything wrong. I shouldn't be here. There's nothing that should, have put me here in hell. But later on at the end, he finally comes to the point where he admits it, both to himself and to others, that he had committed rape, etc. And so he did deserve to be there. That's something that the reader comes to that conclusion with at the end. And this was all about belief. That's point 2. If you don't, whenever we believe something so foolhardy, almost, it can get the better of us. But it's also going to affect what the reader hears and the perspective of it, because he believed he was in the right. And finally, point 3. Now this is actual mental condition, and it ties a little into point 2 in some of the examples that I use, because amnesia, things that actually would affect your mental state, fall into this point. So you could actually have a character who has suffered a concussion or some kind of brain injury or has a debilitating disease, and that's going to affect how they narrate the story. So all 3 of these are very common and used reasons for having unreliable narrators. And they can be used to make your story incredible, but you have to do it right. So think about it. Think about how to pick your main character. Think about all those different things. I have other episodes available on them if that will help you. So take a look, consider it, and if you want to use an unreliable narrator, make sure you do your homework and you do it right. Happy writing. Thank you for coming to Story Glimpse. I'm Weston Kincade, bestselling horror and mystery author, and if you'd like to leave a comment, we'd love to hear it. We really enjoy seeing you come to our channel, and if you'd like to know about future episodes or to offer some advice on topics you'd like to hear about, please leave a comment below. Subscribe to hear about new episodes, and click the bell. Thank you for joining us. It means a lot. Have a great week.